What's up? It's your self-proclaimed Cinema Shogun here, and I'm sure by now most of you all have watched Travis Scott's AstroWorld interview, and if you haven't, you might want to go check it out real quick and then come back and watch this video, because I'm not going to play the whole interview here, but I am going to give you my honest opinions about everything that was said. Now, I woke up this morning, grabbed some coffee, and saw that Travis Scott was having an interview with Charlamagne about AstroWorld, and I immediately got excited. For one, I've been dying to know what Travis Scott has to say about this whole situation. I've been wanting to see someone press him with some questions, because we haven't heard from him since this whole event. He made that one little apology video and he was rubbing all over his face, but that's all we've seen. And then the fact that Charlamagne was doing the interview is what really got me excited, because I know that a lot of people who are paying attention to this AstroWorld story might not know of Charlamagne, but I know of Charlamagne. I'm very familiar with his work, and Charlamagne basically became famous from being a guy who's not afraid to say what most people will say. You know, he's not afraid to ask the tough questions and to say what's on his mind. Now, some of the things he says are stupid. Some of the things I definitely agree with, but there's no denying the fact that Charlamagne is where he's at now because he's always been this brutally honest and just no holds barred type of guy when it comes to interviews and sitting down and talking with people. I mean, if you all know who Charlamagne is, you probably remember that one time he made that rapper Little Mama cry like live on the radio. Let's check it out.
You got two people here with you. Do they have any of your music? And you're at a radio station.
I got it right here.
Oh, okay.
Right. So now what?
Okay.
Yo, we about to throw him. We about to tie him up with a rope.
You ain't tying nothing up.
We about to put a sock in his mouth.
Listen here, chill out, Jurassic Park, Tyrannosaurus Rex, prehistoric.
Yeah, you gotta see. That right there alone is a struggle. That's hard.
Right.
That's tough for anybody. But my music will speak for itself. My actions will speak for itself. My mother will be proud. My father will be proud. At the end of the day. And nobody can
stop. This is just one small occasion, but literally Charlamagne's whole career has been him just, you know, basically saying what other people are afraid to say. Literally every couple of weeks there's another rapper who's threatening to fight Charlamagne and whoop his ass and different things like that because of the things that he says. His most famous segment is Donkey of the Day, where he basically calls someone out and gives them Donkey of the Day for doing something stupid, and he goes on a short, you know, brutal rant about whatever happens, you know, a no-holds-punched type of rant. So hearing that he's going to be the one to interview Travis Scott, I'm like, okay, well, we'll probably get some tough questions here. Maybe he will press him. And then I sit down and watch the interview. 51 minutes. 51 minutes straight of nothingness. The only thing I gathered from this was, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what this whole entire interview was. Travis Scott says, about 1,333 times and nothing else. Dodges all of the questions, and then the questions that Charlamagne are throwing out there are padded questions. It almost seemed like this entire interview wasn't an interview at all. It almost seemed like a school counselor session, if you will. Like he's talking Travis Scott through his problems instead of pressing him. There was no real follow-up questions, no hard-hitting, anything here. It just looked like a friend sitting down with a friend almost, which was pretty much what it was. But like I said, Travis Scott literally says nothing this entire interview for the most part. And at no point does he look like he's regretful. I mean, he doesn't get emotional at all. He just seems emotionless. And Charlamagne's just going on with these weak questions. And even when he hits him with a harder question, he pads it a little bit. He words it in a way where it's not as harsh and where it's like almost a defense of Travis Scott as he's asking the question. Like, pay attention to this one question where he's asking him about how, about how hard it is to notice things going on in the crowd while saying that he did stop the show at one point. Let's just listen to this and listen to the nonsense that Travis Scott had to say in return.
God forbid, passed away. And you know, it's typical for you to stop a show to make sure fans in the crowd get the help, you know, they need. There's even footage of that night of you doing that during the set. Were you unable to sense like a difference in urgency this time around?
I mean, yeah, because, you know, you stop the show, but, you know, if something's going to happen, if it's something detrimental, somebody's going to let you know, or, you know, the show just stopped. And, you know, that just wasn't the case. You know, I just kind of stopped the show. You know, you just ask, you have a call and response with the fans. You try to, you know, generally get a response, but, you know, if you don't get like a hard
Like
stop,
yeah.
you know, it's just, you can't, you just go off of what's going on, you know, which makes it so like, so crazy, cause like, you know, I feel like if, you know, anyone would have known, it would have just been like, it wouldn't have got that far.
You see what I mean about how he words the questions in a way that pads him for Travis Scott? And then Travis Scott's answer is just totally stupid. There was no clear signs to stop. That's what Travis Scott says, but the footage says otherwise.
Stop the show! Stop the show! Stop the show! Stop the show! Stop the show!
All that. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands up, y'all. 2 hands up. Y'all know what y'all came to do. Chase me, let's go.
The whole entire crowd is literally chanting for you to stop. You have people who are helping throw this event come on stage and tell you to stop, and you shoo it away like, nah, I ain't trying to hear all that. You know, and then go on with your performance. You were told to stop. If there was ever a clear sign to stop, the signs were there. So for Travis Scott to sit here and just act so unaware of everything that was going on is just so bogus. Like, why double down on this? He came here for this interview, basically walked his way around every question without saying anything but you know, and denies any like responsibility here. Any responsibility at all. It was obvious that he was told to stop. The crowd was yelling for you to stop. You got people climbing on stage telling you to stop. You got the earpiece telling you to stop. You got the people coming on stage telling you to stop who actually work for the event. Everything was there. But at no point did Travis stop the show. And at no point in this interview did Travis at all seem emotional. He didn't seem like someone who just went through something. He seemed like someone who was trying to cover his own ass, but didn't even do a good job of that because he doesn't seem like the most articulate person in the world. Now, I know I could say a few words that I might repeat a lot in my videos. I know I'm not the most articulate person myself, but damn, this dude makes a living off of writing raps and rhymes, but he can't even say a complete sentence without saying you know over and over again. It was just so much. And it was just pathetic to see him sitting here trying to express himself because he can't. He literally has no vocabulary skills. It was so weird because I assumed that he would have a better way with words, but he literally doesn't. And now I have to question, does he even write his own raps? Now, his raps aren't super complex, but damn, you know, they seem a little more interesting than him when he talks as a person, you know? And I think this all goes to the point that I've been trying to prove to some people for a while now. I don't know if I made the point on this channel, but it's the point that a lot of these celebrities aren't what you think they are. You know, they're really not as complex and interesting as you think they are. They're literally people, plain people, who are just boosted into fame artificially, if you will. Like, it's not even that their talent is taking them places. It's none of that. It's just Hollywood, these music labels will grab a random person, throw some chains and tattoos on them, throw some nice clothes on them, write them a few songs and just boost them into superstardom to basically make money off of their success. And that's what Travis Scott is looking like here. Like, he doesn't come across to me as someone who's really making the music that he makes. Once again, it's not to say that his music is so complex, but it just seems a little more complex than the type of guy that I see in this interview. Period. This dude doesn't seem well-spoken at all. And it's kind of disappointing seeing that. You know, I thought he would be a little bit better than that, but He definitely comes off as someone who can't really talk like that, and someone who's totally disinterested really in what's going on here. And he keeps coming up with these things saying like, I'm really committed to find out what we could do moving forward and how we could change things like this. And it just, no, dude. There's already safety protocols in place for things like this. There's safety protocols in place for things like this, and your people and you didn't follow those safety protocols at all. It's like this dude is so full of it that he doesn't even realize how stupid he sounds and how stupid he comes across in this interview. Not only is he not well spoken, but the things he's saying is just totally ridiculous. Like, instead of being more apologetic, he's sitting here talking about, oh, well, we need new wristbands that can tell when someone's heart is racing. And, you know, they got technology like that nowadays, you know? And it's not really my fault. I think people just want to attack me because I got that seat, you know? And it's just, he's totally not taking really the accountability for this. And he's not even successfully pushing it elsewhere. He's just saying a whole bunch of nothing. Like, if I was interviewing him and I had these questions, even if I had the exact same questions as Charlamagne, at some point I would sit here and be like, man, can you just really answer my question? And not just say you know 1,000 times. No, I do not know. No, I can't not put myself in your shoes. No, I do not know, Travis Scott. God, I just wanted to rip through the video and be like, no, I don't know. Stop asking that stupid ass question. No one knows what you're saying, Travis Scott. Jesus. But he just goes on and on and on. And at one point, this had to be probably the most ridiculous part of the interview. And it happens really early on, but I have to play this little snippet.
You know, raging has been a part of the culture, you know, of your shows. You know, you didn't on this night, but in the past, you've encouraged, I guess, the kind of energy that could have led to something like this happening. Mm-hmm. Do you think that contributed to the energy of this night?
Yeah, nah, I think, you know, it's something I've been working on, you know, for a while, of just creating these experiences and trying to show, like, the experiences happening in a safe environment. Mm-hmm. You know, us as artists, we trust, you know, professionals to make sure that, you know, things happen and people leave, you know, safely, you know what I'm saying? And this night was just like a regular show, mm-hmm. you know, it felt like to me. As far as like, you know, the energy, people, it didn't feel like it was like, you know, people didn't show up there to just be harmful. Mm-hmm. People just, I think, showed up to have a good time, and then, you know, something unfortunate happened. And I think we really just got to figure out, you know, what that was, you know?
Does raging make it harder to...
Dude literally just sat right here and said that raging is about loving and caring for one another. Raging is about loving and caring for one another and being peaceful. What? The word rage is totally the opposite of everything that he described it as. So raging means loving and being caring. Oh, man. Since when, Travis? Since when did raging become about loving and caring? No, raging is exactly what happens at your concerts. You go there, you go crazy, you start pushing people, punching people, and you rage out for no apparent reason to music that isn't even rageable to. Like, I'm not a rager. I would never go to a concert and rage, but when I think of people raging at a concert, I can't imagine someone raging to Travis Scott music. It's weird. It doesn't make sense, but Travis Scott has that type of control over his fan base somehow, that they rage over his low-frequency music while he auto-tune sings. And he had the audacity to sit here in front of Charlamagne. Charlamagne's someone who not only is I guess you could call him a journalist, but he's someone who specifically is in the music community. You know, interviewing music artists, like 99% of the time. So Charlamagne knows what raging is. Charlamagne knows that raging isn't about peace, love, and care. Raging is about raging. Like, look up the definition of raging. We all know what raging means. But, I mean, it is 2021, and now words have new definitions. So, of course, hey, maybe that's what they call it nowadays. Maybe when you go and bash people's brains in at concerts, it's called being peaceful, loving, and caring. At least according to Travis Scott. But you know, you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. Those were the famous words of Travis Scott himself. In fact, that's probably what he should name his new album, is You Know, with probably about 10, 11 tracks, each song about 2 minutes and 43 seconds long, of him just saying you know, because I don't really think he has any other words in his vocabulary, really. He has to have a ghostwriter. Someone is writing his songs. Someone is writing his songs. Travis Scott, you're not writing your own songs. You know, watching this interview, I'm supposed to be watching it, really trying to gauge what you have to say and your response to this whole tragedy, but there really was no response. You kind of tried to divert, you know, the blame elsewhere, and you said you know a lot, and nothing else came of this. So I can't really do anything but critique it from a different standpoint. I'm critiquing it from the standpoint that, okay, we get no information about how you feel about AstroWorld, except that you don't really care because you show no emotion. You're totally dry and unenthusiastic. I'm not saying you're supposed to be excited, but you're just totally dry. There's no shaking of the voices, nothing. Like, Alec Baldwin did a better job than you in his interview, and I thought that was horrible. But man, this was worse. But I can only look at it from the standpoint of, man, this rap artist who I thought was at least a little more articulate than this, you know, he just exposed himself for being really a dry, boring guy who can't really talk. And Charlamagne, you exposed yourself after years and years and years of being a harsh, you know, reporter slash journalist slash, you know, interviewer. You came here just being weak for whatever reason, probably because you're friends and probably because you're paid off. So both of you just exposed yourselves here. So all in all, I feel like all I got from this interview was 51 minutes of you know. And I can keep saying it, but you already know. You know, you know, you know. You've heard that enough already today. So this interview was nothing. It was a pure nothing burger. Travis Scott looks even worse in my eyes. I'm disappointed in Charlamagne. But I want to know your thoughts about this interview down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Go to the description of this video. I'll have a link to my other channel. You can go subscribe over there. A link to my Twitter. You can go follow me over there. And my Cash App if you would kindly like to support the channel. But as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.